What is going on, everybody?
What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? How you doing? How you doing?
Fan freaking tastic.
I'm I'm glad to hear that, man. That's a great description of how your day is going, man.
I
Freaking
wanted to say another
tastic,
word,
bro.
but obviously,
We're PG. We're PG, so we're not gonna curse. And I know the last and disclaimer, guys. I know the last episode it was a bit uncensored. I will say that it was a bit uncensored.
oh yeah,
It was a bit uncensored there, but we weren't like saying sexual references. We're not doing all that other stuff in the other
nah.
episodes. We just cursed a lot.
But
But this episode, guys, no cursing. There will be no curse words. God damn, I got to shave. But anyway, yeah.
before
This
before
episode. Before we go, we do what?
before we get into this episode, if you guys are new, make sure you hit the like button, also hit the subscribe button because, like I said, we'll do this occasionally because we want to open up to y'all. Kind of get show to what our I guess you could say what our personal lives are like.
And
Behind.
with us being in a new network, I feel like they deserve like our backstory, our life before we start streaming,
Oh yeah,
and how we
absolutely.
got into this. They deserve it as much as the fans deserve it. So let's get right into it. I know and you guys can watch the first episode of Real Talk on our channel. We did it. We did like a kind of like a pilot episode on my Facebook and
Yeah.
because it was more so a series for the It's From Me podcast page that was defunct. So if you want to watch the pilot episode, go to my Facebook page at Tyler Michael Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to follow me because it's private. Be sure to follow me. I will gladly accept it if you're a part of. I mean, if you're a part of the network that we're in, you should be fine. To watch that at your leisure, you're fine to do that.
Oh
But in
yeah.
today's episode, and if you can't follow me on Facebook, I'm gonna give you a recap right now. First episode was how me and Rob met. We met, you know, just by him calling me over to the lunch table. Hey man, wanna sit with us? All right. And I sat, and it was the rest was history there. We talked about
Could have
a
been a lot
random.
sooner.
Could have been a
But
lot
yeah,
sooner. Could have been a lot sooner, but
like I
we
said,
digress. But
yeah,
then we also talked about how we saw fights in school.
yeah, that's
I saw somebody in Triton, and I'm gonna get to that too because I'm gonna talk about going to my next school, which is Triton High School in Runnymede, New Jersey. Um, I literally saw somebody do a WWE style crossbody off of a table
uh,
in Triton. Um, and also we're gonna deep dive our life um prior to me moving to Belmar, New Jersey, which is why I went to a different school from 2013 to 2016.
mm-hmm.
Um, but let's get into it, shall we? Um, Now my side of the story should obviously come first because it involves me moving.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
so let's go. All right, we're living our life in high school. We're riding high off of our friendship. This is around this is around 2012, 2013. This is early 2013. And my family was trying to find a house in Belmar Park. It's like a little suburban area. It's kind of like what a trailer park is, but it's a bunch of houses, not trailers, and there's not a dirt road. It's basically a suburban area in
Oh
a
yeah.
sense. Um, but they call it Belmar Park, Belmar, New Jersey. Um, and it's called Belmar Park. But it used to be like a military little place, military base kind of. So, but there was like a bunch of houses that are on top of it. But we moved we moved there around I'd say May, but I was allowed to we were allowed to like finish school in Gloucester. And I remember telling Rob that I was
Yeah.
moving. He was pissed.
Eh, looking
Kind
back
of
at it,
pissed, kind of bummed. No, the one guy that was pissed was the math teacher because he liked.
Yeah,
He's like,
I
mother.
remember.
He was punching in the air. He was mad. I was like, I'm sorry, man. I'm
I
gonna
like
miss you too, man. Yeah, he was a cool guy. He was the wrestling coach too.
Mr. McConnell. That's who you're
Oh my
thinking
god,
of.
he was cool. He was cool, man. He was cool. But yeah, he got so mad. Poor, poor McConnell, man. He got so mad when I told him I was moving. He liked me, man. He was awesome. You
Yeah,
know,
Mr. McConnell was always, and still to this day is an
he's a
awesome
cool guy.
dude.
He's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. Shout out to him, Mr. McConnell, man. Shout out to him. He was cool,
And probably the best Rangers coach that Gloucester's had in a while.
bro. When he was there and he was that coach. No, there he during that time they stayed winning. They were not even losing nothing. They stayed winning. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was a cool like math teacher there. But in Triton, right? So I moved, right? Fast forward, I moved. Rob isn't happy. He's crying his boo-hoos, rightfully so, because I'm his best friend. He loves me to death. All right,
Well, technically,
we're,
we've
we're
been
brothers. We're
yeah.
brothers at this point. So he's crying. Well, he wasn't really crying his boo-hoos. I was joking about that. He wasn't crying. He was upset. He was a
I,
little bit upset.
I was a little bit bummed, but then again,
But he was like, man, we only live like 2 towns over. I could
yeah, that's
come
what I'm
visit
saying.
you.
Yeah, like it's not like super bummed,
It
but it's
wasn't
like
too far. And he always, dude, he lives 2 towns over. It's a walkable distance. He walks from Gloucester to my house
yeah,
from time to time. So there was that.
yeah. For those who live in South Jersey, do not cross 130. I will say that.
And this dude very stupidly crosses 130. Like,
It
dude,
was the only way to get to Belmar. Like what? Because I
true.
don't
You
drive.
should have asked for a ride. I'm telling you that. But anyway, but yeah, he crosses one. Dude, the dude walks through 130 to get to my house. That tells you how much of a true friend this dude is. He crosses a highway to get to my house.
Yeah.
But yeah. This is after I moved. So after I moved, nice little house, 2-story. Um, I go, I we signed in the train that summer, right? Um, First day of school, I'm confused as all get out because this place is a freaking maze compared to Gloucester. Gloucester
Yeah.
is tiny. You're like you go to this hallway, that hallway, that hallway. 3 hallways, probably 4 if you take another left down one hallway.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. It was nothing too substantial. Triton, there's this hallway, then there's that hallway, then there's a hallway to your left, a hallway to your right, a hallway this way, that way, and a third. Then there's a second floor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, and that's the thing too about Triton too, because the only time I've been there, and on my side was the fact that I've never been to Triton. The only time I've been there was to face their JV baseball team. And let's be real, their JV kind of stinks.
yeah, you only saw like the outside. I went
But
into
the
the inside.
outside, I can
The inside,
imagine what it's
the
like too.
inside, it was like
It's
15
different
hallways on the first floor, like one hallway on the second because it was like one hallway. I don't know
because
how
that's
they fit. Like I don't know what's on the rest of the whatever. I think it's like a bunch of big classrooms, but uh, there's like one hallway upstairs. Luckily, they do account for people like me, people who have disabilities too. They do account for them. They have an elevator. They do account for people like me who are in a wheelchair who can't walk long distances and stuff. They do account for those people. So I'm
mm-hmm.
absolutely happy about that with them. I love they do that. I still do that, but that place was a maze. I'm like going in the wrong hallway to find my first class. Here I'm going the opposite direction of where I'm supposed to go. So I have to go all the way. I'm asking people like, all right, where's this class? They're like, you're going the wrong way. You're supposed to go that way. I go, oh, dang, I had to turn
Like
around.
it's
I had
like
to
Tyler was
U-turn. I
like
have to
people were
wheel the
zigging,
other
Tyler
way.
was zag, or in other words, Tyler. So yeah, other
I
people
was
were
going
zigging,
zig. I was supposed to go
going
zag.
zag. Yeah, pretty. Pretty
That was what's happening with me with that school. But luckily I had a teacher's aide by the second day. The first day was only confusing because I didn't have a teacher's aide at that time. They were trying to find me one to wheel me around at
Yeah,
that time.
that's true. It was also
And also,
crazy.
I was so used to Rob pushing me around,
Yeah,
me
it was
being
like
his
the
get out
freaking
of jail
school.
free card.
Yes,
And we talked about that episode one too. That was
yeah,
hilarious.
but
But now the best part of like going there first day was like it didn't take me long to find friends and make friends. It didn't take me that long. Um, I have three friends that I still talk to this day. Actually, four from that first
yeah,
day. Actually, four. Um, One of my friends, she was a cheerleader back then. She I was in lunch and I'm like struggling to hold my tray and wheel at the same time. There was like one time I spilled, I think it was like my junior year, that I spilled scalding hot mac and cheese on my lap. I screamed bloody mary. I was like, because it burned. And then I laughed about it like you are. It was hilarious at the end of the day. Shut up. Yes, I spilled scalding hot mac and cheese on my lap, trying to wheel and hold my tray at the same time. It wasn't my fault. My teacher's day was out. I had to do crap myself, and the friend that I made the first school year. This was my no. This was like I think this was like one of the days. It was rare my senior year because I had an injury that kept me out
yeah.
of school for all of that.
Sorry, yeah, because you kind of you and I texted about that. Yeah, because you've been out the
I've
same.
been put through the ringer. Honestly, I've been put through the ringer my entire life with this
That's,
disability, man.
that's
Um,
hey, so it kicked his rear end though. That's
I'm kicking it. I'm kicking its booty. I'm still living. I'm kicking its booty right
well,
now.
that's not like a court like a
You
well,
know, it, I'm over here being like the sympathetic babyface wrestler who gets beaten down but gets back up. I'm that guy.
yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
but here's the but prior to me spilling scolding mac and cheese all over myself, I had a friend who would actually help me in a sophomore year of high school. Didn't have to do it. She turned around and was like, "Hey, you need help? I'll help you." I'm like, "All right." Came fast friends right after that.
And you
Fast
also
friends.
yeah,
Um, so literally the way that we met kind of was literally how I met my first friend in train, kind of.
pretty
But
much.
you didn't help me with uh picking up my tray because I already had a teacher's aide. So
Yeah,
you just told me,
yeah.
"Hey man, I want to come over and eat lunch with us." All right, but
Well, yeah, because and see that's the thing too with Gloucester at times they always had like teachers age 24/7 because trust me, for me I always had like that. And it's like, and that's the thing too with Tyler as well. And minus him
I
being
had
this,
one. I had one who was hilarious my freshman year because every time I would get a buffalo chicken and it read on like the sign buff chicken, he goes, and the guy goes, "Have you ever seen a buff chicken?" I'm like, "No, no, I
yeah,
haven't."
but and that's the thing too. And for me, like Tyler said, for me it was a little bit hard. Let's be real, outside of Tyler, it was kind of hard making other types of friends because Tyler was the only one I ever talked to for the first couple of
Yeah,
years.
and dude, I remember you were having a really really tough time. That there was a case where your mental health got worse.
Well,
And there
yeah,
was
I wouldn't say it
a
got
time
worse.
it was that time that you needed space. We weren't talking. I'm like, "Hey, you okay?" You weren't talking. I'm like, "All right, I'll leave you your space." I understood why you didn't talk to me for a little bit. I understood because I was going through the same thing.
Yeah, the same
Mental
stuff.
my mental health wasn't great. It still isn't the best. I know I went to therapy. I think January of this year. I went to therapy. For it, it helped me. It helped me a lot better. It helped me a lot better where I didn't really need therapy that much anymore. So I feel happier than I was before.
And
But
that's yeah, and I'm with Tyler on this one. And for those who have seen the very first episode of how we got to see, and Tyler seen me where I was at my lowest in life.
This man,
I'm not kidding.
let me recap of what I saw from this guy. This man would stare into space and just stand there, like he was like a man possessed in a sense.
Yeah, pretty
And I had
much.
to snap my fingers in front of his face for him to snap out. Like, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and goes, "What?" He goes, "You okay?" He goes, "I didn't see anything."
Yeah, because when I
I
came,
blacked. He goes, "I'm sorry, man. I blacked out." And I'm like, "Dude, you're fine. I know you're going through some mental issues, because at that time I was finding out that I was starting to really get mentally unstable a little bit. You know, like I
yeah,
was like getting angry, lashing out. There was one time where I stood up and grabbed a knife, wanting to, you know what,
and the funny, I'm not saying the funniest things too. Like Tyler said, he saw some fights too. Like, well,
dude. Dude, let me tell you. All right, let me tell you the first fight I saw. Right, and I covered this on episode 1, but I will rehash it. The first fight me and Rob saw. We're sitting at lunch. Two girls to our right.
trust me, you're gonna laugh at this.
Fistful of hair and punches being thrown by both of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, jeez.
Well,
And
technically,
then
we saw
literally the
two
same day,
actually.
literally the same day. After, so I leave 5 minutes early. I have to go to the nurse because I have a procedure I have to do every day.
Yeah.
Um, put it this way, I can't go to the bathroom by myself without an assistance of an object, pretty much a catheter. You know, so I have to do that. So I go to on our way to the nurse. Right, we're not even 5 feet away from the cafeteria. We didn't even walk up out that far. Group of people standing in a circle. There's another fight going on.
When I tell you that Gloucester High at one point, and to me was
Dude,
ghetto, yeah, you could
dude,
not.
I'm gonna tell you the difference. I'm gonna tell you the difference right now between the two schools. Right, every day in Gloucester, all I hear is "Meet me behind Wawa at 3 o'clock." Meet me behind Wawa
Yeah,
at 3 o'clock.
yeah. It's and for those who have not,
And obviously, it's the fight spot. It's always been the
yeah,
fight spot. Even for years, it's been the fight spot.
and for those who
Um,
don't know what Wawa is, well,
it's basically like a 7-Eleven but cooler in a sense.
but and
Up
it's
here, up here in Rhode Island, they have a place called Neon, which is kind of like a different version of Wawa because they don't exactly have Wawas up here, which makes me angry. They should have Wawa everywhere. But yeah, Neon's like a close second to it because a
and
lot
you
of their
also got
stuff is as high quality as Wawa is.
and you also
Um,
have Sheets. Those who are in the pit.
yeah, Pittsburgh, yeah, that's Sheets. It's basically if you live in Pittsburgh, it's Sheets, but
If you know
cooler.
the, yeah, well,
It's a cooler version of Sheets. I'm kidding. No, Sheets is on par with that. So
so
yeah,
yeah, you have some options,
it's basically Sheets, but with a different name.
and that's the thing too. And Tyler, I think we also saw one argument. I swear, I know we talked about this argument once before, but once this was also during lunch. There's almost a fight over spaghetti.
Yeah. This was like
Spaghetti.
right after I had moved. It's right after I moved. Your brother saw this one.
Yeah, and I
And we
texted.
we covered that on episode 1 too. So I'm not gonna deep dive into that. But but here's the difference between what I saw in Triton and what I saw and heard in Gloucester.
Because I always give Tyler
Fights
updates.
left, dude. It felt like Gloucester was more like a prison yard than what Triton
And
was,
you know
in a
what?
sense.
I'm I can't disagree with that with Tyler because at times it did feel like a prison yard, and
It was like there's fights left and right in Gloucester.
and
Meet
this
me
one like
behind, and then the meet me behind Wawa thing, and then in Triton I saw like one fight, and that was when somebody jumped off the dang table like Ray freaking Mysterio. All
and
right,
then me and Tyler made a joke about it. It's like, man, there was no
I'm
steel
like,
chair
yeah,
involved.
I'm like,
Like,
man, man, and I made this joke when I saw the fight. I'm like, man, there's not even a steel chair involved. Come on, this is the weakest fight. This is the weak WWE match ever. You know,
but
but
yeah, it's
that's the thing. But that's the thing. Like it felt. I can't say less ghetto because there is school fights there. And there is kind of like its own problems. Like there's like smoking in bathrooms and stuff like
yeah,
that. But that's every school smoking in bathrooms.
yeah. That mostly than most the Gloucester fruit because
but here's the thing though. That's in every school. Every kid smokes. And then there's like, and then put it this way, my junior year, you have kids in class vaping, and they're making it blatantly obvious that they're vaping.
yeah, see Gloucester would even
So it's not as ghetto as Gloucester is, or Gloucester was when we were in school.
yeah.
But it was kind of like on the fringe of like kind of ghetto, kind of not.
Yeah, that is absolutely
It was
true.
on that fringe. It was on that fringe, but it didn't feel as ghetto as Gloucester did. Gloucester was like a prison yard. You know, everywhere you go, there's a fight breaking out or something breaking out.
And that's the thing too. And I don't think I've really touched upon it. And we already talked. Gloucester, for those who not have gone to Gloucester or has gone to Gloucester High or after what me and Tyler went through, because at the time it was us mixture of Brooklyn kids, because obviously Brooklyn never had a high school, so they had to come to Gloucester High. Then you also had a mixture of Highland Park, which their high school got shut down, so they had to come integrated with us, and unfortunately had to have Camden kids, which boy, that was kind of pretty much the fuse.
And I heard that was like right after I moved too, the Camden thing. I know Highland opened back up, so they were no longer integrated with you guys after a while.
Thank God.
Yeah, Highland kids, though, I'm telling you right now.
I mean, there were some good Highland kids, though. I will.
Yeah, there were some good, but most are
just troublemakers. I will say.
But back to Triton. I didn't see as many fights as I did in Gloucester. The hallways were like mazes. I couldn't even find class. The people I met, roughly, like most of them were like really, really cool people. Hell, I still talk to most of them, even though most of them are like acquaintances now. I really talk to them as friends or more so acquaintances now than they were back then. Which is fine. That's adult life. It happens. But I'm forever indebted for the 3 people that were like my true friends when I got there, because I met one of my closest friends from there in a science class. You know who you are. Shout out you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna name names. I met my other really, really, really awesome friend in a gym class. And in the gym class, it wasn't like, when I was in Gloucester, I was integrated with the rest of the normal non-disabled people. I was in like they put me in like a special education gym class because I had a disability. I couldn't do a lot of the stuff that the normal kids could do. So they put me in something where I could do stuff, be active, which was smarter. It was smarter than what Gloucester was, because there was a lot of times where I couldn't even play half of the games.
Yeah,
and it sucked for me. I hated it. Doing that, like I couldn't play half the games. I had to like sit with a teacher half the time because I couldn't play because I was disabled. In Triton, like they have like 2 separate gym classes, one for disabled people, one for normal people. But in a way, you're still playing the same stuff as the normal people are, and you're still kind of integrated with them in a sense. But like you're doing different things that you could be doing. Like when they're having like full on football games, we're just throwing the pigskin around. We're learning how to throw and catch the football.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which I liked it because I like football. Let me learn how to be like a D-Jax or a somebody like that, but without hurting myself. Okay, throw me the pigskin. He taught me like the way to throw to catch the ball is to do that. How they hold their hands up to catch the ball and track it. I usually just try to alligator arm it. You're supposed to just have your hands up like a triangle.
Kind of like that way. Try to catch the point.
Just like that, and it was way easier doing that. Way easier, and I'm like I watched football for however many years, and I'm trying to alligator arm it.
Even though
that's not how you're supposed to catch a football. You're supposed to catch like a triangle and stuff like that. So I learned how to catch a football the first time, even though I watched football for X amount of years before. But
And also, Tyler, too. You also told me when you and I were texting before, you met another friend. You know,
another wait.
Mr. Sean. God
Oh
darn.
yes, yes, yes. The professional wrestler himself. I met him. I think it was my junior year. Me and him started talking. Right. We were in the same high school together. Lo and behold, guys. Yes, shocker. I know a pro wrestler. All right. But yeah, me and him were talking. He told me about his aspirations about being a pro wrestler. Heck, there was one time, um, I think I went to my brother's play. He was in like a PG-13 version of the Breakfast Club back in high school. A
Yeah, for those who
PG-13 version of that.
oh,
Um, because of
I
course
couldn't.
you can't go the movie version because that's R-rated. You can't go to full that in high school. But
Yeah,
But
that's
he,
true.
like it was like right after he goes, yeah, Tyler, did you know the movie came out the same day WrestleMania 1 was aired? I'm like, yeah, man, the same
And
year. Like, yeah, I remember that. It was like really cool. We were talking wrestling. He would chew my ear off about wrestling,
I
and
can imagine.
my brother told me too this funny story. He goes, he told us because my dad he told me, how did your friend do in his match? I'm like, good. He goes, who's your friend? I'm like, Sean. He goes, Henderson. I go, yeah. He's like, man, that man tried to talk to me about wrestling. I didn't know jack about wrestling. I'm like, I
And
feel you
speaking
on
of
that because
Sean,
he wasn't the wrestling type of guy. He's more of like the musical, more of like stuff like that. He's not into wrestling, which is understandable. Not a lot of people are into
absolutely.
wrestling.
Also,
So I'm like, so I laughed it. I'm like, I feel you there. Like I'd be annoyed too if I wasn't a wrestling fan. If somebody was trying to talk to me about what, like, I don't know, soccer, I would be like, I don't know who you're talking about. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Um,
and
so I
also
feel him on that, but that's the thing. Like he would talk your ear off. He would talk my ear off about wrestling, nothing else but wrestling, and I loved him for it. I still
quite
like the guy for it.
honestly, and at times I do wish, I think myself, you know what? I wish I could have actually moved to training and just and met
We
Sean.
all three of us would have like a clique,
That's what I'm
like our
saying.
version of like
Like,
it would be like Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, and
and tri-
and Triple H. You know,
it's
it would
but
be our version of that. It'd be have our own like clique, kind of.
a little
Like
yeah.
wrestling fans. It'd be really cool. But that was when I like really started to like kind of get back into it when me and him started talking. And then 2016, obviously I got back into it. And then we were really deep diving by like the senior year, deep diving. And then like one time I like the guy for this, he was cool for this. He didn't have to do it. So I'm in the hospital. I have like a badly infected wound, right? It was at like a stage 3, almost a stage 4. I could have died from this, guys. Um, but this is my second stint in the hospital. I had surgery, and I was telling people, yeah, just send me cards. They have a thing where you can send like e-cards. You can just write messages in it and stuff. This man went the extra mile. He gave me a worn, beaten down CM Punk shirt, which I don't have anymore because I had to throw it away because it was too dirty. I couldn't clean. It couldn't be cleaned. It couldn't be salvageable. Um, and a CM Punk, or not, or no, an AJ Styles figure. I don't have that either because I decided I'm just gonna give it to a kid while I'm here to be nice. I'm gonna do a charitable thing because I'm a nice person. I wanted to give back. So I gave a kid, some like a toy or something. You know, could be a wrestling fan. So Sean, I don't have those two things. I'm sorry, but I was too charitable with the figure. I'm not really a figure collector anymore. I'm more of like a sports memorabilia collector in a sense. I did collect, try to collect, wrestling training, like wrestling cards, like the sports cards. Try to collect those, but I'm not really like a figure type of guy like I was when I was a kid and collecting those when I was a kid. But I appreciated the sentiment nonetheless. Thanked him for it. I told him, hey man, you didn't have to do that, you know. But that's how much of a good guy the guy is. So he was another friend that I met in training. Lo and behold, a year later, I find out he is training to be a wrestler. I'm like, go for it, man. I was one of the ones that pushed him. Go for it. If this is something you want to do, go for it. He went for it, and look where he is now.
And speaking of that too, for those who we highly recommend you guys check that out because we did have him on the channel for the first time, and
Yeah, we interviewed him. Yeah, we interviewed him for the first time ever. We tried for since like 2020. We tried to interview
yeah,
him, but plans arose, and other plans arose, and he said, "Man, I can't make it." But this time, luckily, his schedule was free, and we interviewed him. That was a lot of fun stuff. Robert over here, I couldn't even get a question in. He's dishing out banger after banger after banger, left and right, like he's Sheamus. All right,
yeah.
He's over here being Sheamus, banger after banger after banger.
And I always said, look, I don't really know Sean personally as closely as Tyler did, but over the span, I would say about like at least almost an hour, kind of get to know what Sean's all about. He's kind of in a way became my second best friend in a certain sense. And
yeah, it was like immediately after immediately during the interview, he literally looks at Sean and goes, "You're my best friend."
in a way,
He goes,
yeah,
"You're one of my best friends now." He goes, "You're one of my best friends now." Like, hey, that's cool. All three of us wrestling fans, best friends.
and
Great.
also for those who are, if you're any wrestling fans who kind of like us, let's be real. I highly recommend you go to IWTV. Please, Sean put on a banger of a show.
He put on a banger of a show, but he had a banger of a match against former WWE wrestler Paul London, who had like a vaudevillain singing gimmick, which kind of weird, kind of like was like, what happened to you? But then again, I'm like, I kind of like it because he has more charisma now than he did back in the day.
yeah.
And I liked him back in the day too, but he has more charisma now than he did back then, which is really cool. But yeah, please go watch that. Please go watch that event. Please go watch his match. I urge you, you will not be disappointed.
No, you really
I promise you guys. I promise you guys 100% you will not be disappointed in that entire event.
And it really is. And from my side of things,
heck, I chose that event over the memorial of Bray Wyatt on SmackDown.
Yeah.
For one, no disrespect to Bray Wyatt. For one, I didn't want to cry. I already cried enough the previous day. I didn't want to cry again. Yeah. Second day in a row. And then it was one of my best friends, man. He's wrestling. I can't miss that.
Oh yeah, and the fact
he's one of our best friends, man. And then
just me and Robert, think about
me and Robert like video chatting each other, reacting to this show, watching it together. It was like two best friends watching their best friend wrestle. It was really cool. Really cool moment for us.
And if you look at the card for Dylan McKay's Underground, he had three former WWE stars. Two of them are former tag champs.
And they were a tag team together when they won the title.
And then Alex Zane, it's like, I'm
thinking he was a missed opportunity by WWE. He was a missed opportunity because he was there for like a week. And then he went to Impact.
Jordan Oliver for me, it's like, who?
Here's the thing. Jordan Oliver, for me, I kind of know him because I saw his work in MLW. I'm like, and in the beginning, I'm trying to pinpoint where I know him from because I was looking at his face and I'm like,
you can see
I know him.
It's like,
I'm like, I know him. Where do I know him from? And I looked, oh crap, he was in MLW.
Yeah, and
for a while. He was in that group with MJF.
Yeah,
Richard Holiday.
Yeah, or I think it was called Dynasty or something like that in MLW.
Yeah, Dynasty. It was the Dynasty. Yeah, he was in that group. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, oh, he was in MLW. It was a really cool moment. It was a really cool moment to see that too. So we had 4 well-known guys on that show.
It really was. And the fact that Sean himself actually booked that show, see, that's a lot of things too. Like,
he's a great booker too. He's not just a great wrestler; he's a great booker. He can book the heck out of it.
He said it in the interview, which always impressed me. Said, he's learned a jack of all trades, not just being a pro wrestler, but know how to book shows. And yeah, it's like, man, I mean, got it. Sean, boy, yes, I know he's. I think I will say this too about Sean. I mean, he's still a little bit rough around the edges. But he is good. I guess you could definitely see like the work he's been putting in, before even in some of the shows. And that's the thing too, like, which I've always because, and I would say me and Sean were kind of the same way. I had the idea about it, but I just never really went through with it.
Yeah, you were like, I don't know if I'm that, I
Good.
wouldn't think I'd be great at it. That's what you thought. I don't think
Yeah,
I would be great, that great
I
at it.
made the mistake of second guessing myself, and you
See,
know,
you see, if you want to do something, you go for it, man. Like, look what us with YouTube.
yeah,
We wanted that so bad. We wanted our shows to be successful. We just went for it. You
yeah,
know,
and that's the thing.
Sean did the same thing. He wanted to become a pro wrestler. He just went for it. And
Well,
that should be a lesson to everybody who's watching right now. Go for it.
it really
Go
is,
for something. If you want to go for something, go for it.
and
If you want to
I
be a
will say,
wrestler, if you want to be a wrestler, go for it. If you want to be a football player, go through.
even though
If you want to be a football player,
go
go
for
on
it.
an amateur team. Try to be a walk on for college or and stuff like that. I know it's harder with sports. I know it's harder. Go for it. If you wanna be a podcaster, go for it.
Yeah, I
If you
mean,
want to
look,
be a YouTuber, a wrestling YouTuber, a sports YouTuber, any kind of
I
YouTuber,
mean, yeah, just gotta
go for it.
go for it, but you also got to figure out what your niche is, and then once
If
you
you want
find
to be
that,
if you want to be a Twitch streamer, go for it.
I look,
If you want to do anything in your life, you need to go for it.
and that's the
Go
thing
for
too
it.
about with me and Tyler too, which I do think I want to implement this well. I before when we look back at episode one, because we when me and Tyler talked about it, we never really talked about having a podcast or a YouTube and stuff like that.
Here's what happened, right? Here's what happened. COVID happened, right?
Yeah,
COVID happened, and I'm and the beginning stages of me doing a podcast, and this is before Rob did it. I started podcasting first. Let's be honest here.
yeah, oh yeah,
Rob
absolutely.
followed suit for me. Like
Well,
I was like,
I would say I wouldn't
I
follow
was
suit.
watching. I think I was watching a random football game, and I'm like, I want to start like I was bored out of my mind. Somehow watching a football game, bored out of my mind. Kind of weird. I'm a football fan. I'm not bored watching football, but on that case, I was bored all day, so I was already bored from like prior to the game. I'm like, what if I talked about sports or talked about football in a podcast? Did
Yeah.
Anchor that flopped?
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
so and then one of my buddies that I was doing it with, he had his job took over and he went through
yeah. I
me,
don't,
and then I tried to redo it with Rob. That was a flop. Um,
but
and then we started doing Israel to Me by like late 2020.
well, before it was called Tower had to go through a different name change.
I called it Saturday SmackDown first,
Yeah,
but
and
this is before the launch of the show for episode one. I'm like, yeah, that's gonna get copyright, so I quickly changed it to It's For Me podcast, which
I
the,
mean,
the the funny
think
the
of the
funny
name.
backstory. But hold on, the funny backstory to that was I saw a video. Remember the guy with the neck brace and the bleachers? Like, it's real to me. That guy.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
I took that part of the video and I'm like, I'm making It's From Me podcast.
And
So
the
I
thing
took a
is,
funny video. I took an inspiration from a funny video and put it into a podcast.
and that's the thing too. Like, I would say I won't follow suit, but Tyler brought up the idea. So you know what? Why don't you do a podcast of your own? And at the time, it's like, you know
Here's
what?
the thing. You talked to me first, right? You talked to me. I'm like, hey man, I like your show. I'm thinking about doing a podcast myself, doing sports. I'm like, dude, go for it, dude.
And I
You know,
mean,
don't dip your toes in it and think that you're gonna do it.
I
Dive in
mean,
the deep end, man. Dive in that deep
and
end,
that's
and we
basically what I
did.
did. Dove into the deep end. Now, yes, like me and Tyler said, Anchor did flop with the both of us. Even though, yes, we did have a third.
It's because, and it wasn't our fault. Yes, some of it was our fault because we were new at this entertaining thing. We were cringe. We
Yeah,
were cringe worthy, man. I'm
yeah.
telling you that right now. We were cringe worthy.
I'll say this too. Go back to go watch our original videos on the channel's
Don't do it.
history.
Don't do it. Do not do it. No. Don't even go to my page. I have like 11 subs on that page for some reason. I have like 4 videos talking about the Phillies, talking about sports, random stuff. Hell, there was like one video where I picked up a random movie off of my shelf and reviewed it.
Yeah, that's
It was bad. It was bad. I was fishing for like what would work with me, and it was bad. And the sports videos weren't that great either. I was cringeworthy there.
yeah.
I was bad at it. I was heck. I was me and I think it was me and my brother were watching a video of mine, and we are both laughing our butts off at me. and how cringe I was. We're
And
both laughing the entire time.
it's
And
funny
like, it was funny.
because
It was bad. It was bad. It was that bad where I'm laughing at myself. That's not good,
I mean,
in that sense.
it is for me because I just like, but
It
it
is for
also
you because you're not me.
well, and that's the thing too. When you go back to, and I go back to
Yeah,
look at it and
yeah,
say,
for you and your channel. If you go back and you watch like our earlier stuff, it's funny.
it
It's
really
comical.
is.
It's comical.
It's
But
not just comical, but it shows the growth that we had over the last 3 years.
yeah, it shows how much we've grown, how much
and
we learned
and the
how to
production
speak,
value
how
at this because like this over like the overlays that I've gotten better at doing overlays like
yeah,
adding frames.
and also the production value has gone way up.
Even though let's
You
be real, I
know,
stink at editing, but I try my hardest.
and also I do admit your thumbnails are a little bit minimalistic in a sense.
Yeah, well, see,
I will
like I said,
say that it's a little bit minimalistic. I
I
think
look,
it
I
could
do what I
be.
can to make
You
it
do what you
appease.
can with the free version of Canva. All
Well,
right, that's the thing.
I currently have the pro version. At the time, yeah,
You could do a little bit better than if you had the pro version. Because
I
back then, you're telling me,
I had the
back then though, you were like when you did the minimalistic stuff, it wasn't. I mean, it was still the same as now with your thumbnails, slapped together, random background in the back,
yeah.
and it was because you were like, man, I could do I can only do so much because it's limited because I only have
I
the
have
free
a free
version of Canva.
version, but
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 that's okay because we can grow and get better at that. We can
and
adapt.
I'm
We can tell each other. We can criticize each other's work. Like, hey man, that's a little bit too minimalistic. Hey man, work on this, work
I
on
even
that.
trash out. And currently, right now, I have the pro version of Canva, and I look back at some of my thumbnails, say, yeah, I it makes you make me want to figuratively puke.
And but here's the thing though, it's still on the same as it was back then. You have to adapt and grow further. You have to make it pop, make the thumbnails pop.
See,
That's the only
I
gripe that I
suck
have
at
that I'm going to
design.
address
That's the
here.
problem.
You got to make it. Wait, what's the problem?
I suck at graphic design.
You can get better.
Well, the only thing that has gotten
Dude. All you
better.
need to do bright colors in the background. That's all you need to do. Bright colors. Uh, different
I,
fonts. Different fonts in our picture.
well, and that's the only thing I've really improved on in terms of the thumbnails was the live play-by-play at times.
The live play-by-play. No, dude. Live play-by-play. That's perfect because it's
Well,
brightly colored. You have your picture. You have what teams are playing, the reactions and
it's not just
title.
that. There were times. I've had different formats of it. Currently, for those or have seen, with the Phillies, I'll have the players. I have like play-by-play reactions all
That's
in big.
fine. That is exactly fine. But let's move past all that because we're derailed right now. We have to get back on the road here.
But yeah, but like Tyler said,
Let's go to your side of life after I moved.
well, obviously, I mean, pretty much was a little bit the same, but I did feel a little bit bummed out. So after Tyler, and yes, I know Tyler moved 2 towns away, or technically a town and a half. I guess you could.
Yeah, it's
No,
a town and a half. It's like it's like you have Gloucester and you have Brooklyn, who I can't even consider that a town.
I mean,
And
that's kind of
it's like you have the Dunkin', you have a Taco Bell, and you have ShopRite, and then you have like a couple houses.
yeah,
Um,
and that's.
and then you have as soon as you go past 130, you're in Belmar.
But
So
the way
it was fairly close.
yeah, and the way that I look at it is, look, I pretty much went about it, what I normally would do. Yes, I know Tyler. After Tyler was, dang it, there goes my get out of jail free card.
Yeah, yeah. You sat there and you're like, every time we walk out of whatever class that day,
I'll take you to the.
you lean down like face level and you go, thank you, and then go back and come like, you're
Yeah.
welcome. Like,
And then and that's kind of crazy. I do it all the time with Tyler.
you're like, every time we walk out of the room and we're out and we finally clear the building, no teachers around. You look at me and go, thank you, and then and then we
walk
go.
home.
I go on the bus, and I see this. Don't go back in the class. 5 minutes. This man books it.
Yep.
Books it back home. I'm like, are you kidding me, bro?
But
You got 5 minutes left. But then again, when he gets back to class, 5 minutes is probably gonna be already up. And it's gonna be
Yeah. So,
whatever. So
but
it was
besides,
better to leave that way. But this
but
man doesn't go back to class. He books it down the street.
yeah, that is true. And like I said, life really was not really. I mean, it changed a little bit. Like I said, after Tyler moved, but really hasn't really changed much. Still did what I normally did. Go through the 4 years of Gloucester High, even though see some crazy crap besides along the way. And talk to some people as well. But just yeah, it was kind of hard for me to adapt, making new friends.
And RQ, let me read that. You said some people are nice around here. That's how it is everywhere. There's some nice people, and I can honestly
You ain't
say
kidding.
the world isn't all bad because there is nice people. Like it's sometimes you see a lot of bad stuff happen in the world. You see a lot of horrible things being said, horrible things being done in the world. There's still some good people around in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about that. RQ, you're a good dude. John L's a good dude. A lot of people that we met in this space, YouTube, good
And
people. Some are bad. Some are bad. We had to get rid of. But most of the people that we met are good people.
yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I really, as soon as after Tyler left, it's or I would say mood is a better term. I would say, I mean, look, still,
Left move, same difference in a sense. I left one town to go to another. So you're right.
I will say, what I do at times, like I said, I had a hard time adapting, making new friends, which that's kind of basically who I'm really am. I had besides talking with
Yeah, I
John.
remember. I remember when I came to Gloucester and you waved me over. I think you kind of expected me to just blow you off. Like, yeah, no,
Yeah,
kind of
that
expect. It's
because
like in a way you kind of expected it, and you go because you looked at me square in my face,
yep.
in the eyes, and you said, "You know what, man? I think this is like 5 days in, like 6 days in. We already became fast friends. It's how
Yeah,
fast we became friends." And you're like, "You know what, man? You're my first real friend." I'm like, "Really?"
yeah, and that's the thing too. Me and Tyler, we both admit, yeah, we've been through some fake people, and
Yeah, we've
even
been
before,
through some fake people, but here's the thing, though. Like, I had a much easier time making friends prior to me moving up to Jersey. I had some really cool friends because back in the South, they preach hospitality.
yeah,
It's whatever. Like, it's easier
what,
to make friends down in the South.
yeah, whether it's not, I will say, compare during me and Tyler's time, either here or in the South. In terms of the school lunches, I will say the South does it better than it does up here, in my honest opinion. Um, but I will say, the schooling, in terms of the curriculum, on that perspective, yeah, Jersey has it down because and I've said this a lot, and I will say this: I got held back, because no teachers wanted, and there was no such thing as IEP in the
Yeah, they
South.
don't really help. They don't really help you. They just like
They just let
whatever.
me the
Like,
fucking to struggle, basically, and
yeah, there's been a few times where they say if you don't do your homework, we're writing you up. Like, what? You're
yeah,
acting like I committed
it was very
a
petty. I
heinous
will
like
say.
act. You're acting like I committed a heinous act by missing one assignment.
And see, and that's where I think I've always liked the New Jersey the school district, because even before class starts, if I say forgot to do like a portion of the homework, yeah, you have teachers that don't give. I would say two don't gives it. Okay,
I
how am I gonna?
remember. I remember, dude. I remember a math teacher that we had in ninth grade, right? For
Uh,
some reason.
yeah,
For some reason.
you know what?
No, it was a math teacher. It was a math teacher. I know your teacher you're talking about. It was a math teacher, man.
I figure.
There was like one question where I forgot to show my work. F0. I did the homework.
See, and that's where I've always nitpicked with the school district, because you have some teachers or will let's say you have to show your work site. Okay, and that really still doesn't really mean much, but besides the point. Over time, and like Tyler said, I would say really nothing really much was different after Tyler moved, even though it's kind of stinks not having having us
Yeah,
having lunch
yeah,
together.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that
That's
did
pretty much
suck,
about it.
And then that was like the one thing I struggled with when I moved to Triton was like trying to find where to sit because nobody knew me at that
Y-
time. But
Yeah,
luckily, I had found that one person that like actually helped me and let me sit with them. But
yeah,
that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, if I didn't have that, I would have been like a deer on headlights. Where do I sit?
yeah. It was kind of for me. I was kind of the same way when I first got to Gloucester. Well, junior, senior high. This for those who were before before the middle school got built, and Gloucester kind of held back on build the damn thing.
Oh
But
my
it's
god, dude! Dude, they tore down houses. What was it? 2010, 2011.
somewhere out there. Yeah,
Empty lot. Empty lot from the time I came up to the time I moved away. And the school finally got built by 20, I think. If I
I think
remember
so.
correctly. So it
It,
took them that long to build that school.
because and Tyler knows and Tyler and me and Tyler we lived on the same street for a while, and Tyler knows there was a when you go past my house there was like always like a row of houses where the middle school currently sits. But prior to that, they demolished every single one of those buildings and just apparently didn't have the budget to build it. So yeah, you had because you had this I think it was seventh and eighth grade if I remember correctly. Because before you had to go to middle school at Marietta, which is now closed down, which it's been that school's been up for a long time, but that's besides the point.
Yeah,
But
but yeah.
but as soon as I got to Gloucester High, it's like, where do I go? like
That's that's any place where you go to a new school. You're like, where
like
do I
literally,
go?
I would
What do
have
I
to
do?
constantly carry because each and every school when you're a new student, you always get like a hard copy of your schedule. So at times, so I had to freaking rely on that to use
I'm
that
like,
as a
you're like
map.
looking down, looking up, looking down. Like, where do
It's
I
like,
go?
where the hell
What
am
do
I
I do?
going?
Where's this hallway? Where's that hallway?
But the
For
benefit
me,
with
for me,
Gloucester,
it got for me. I had a teacher's aide then, luckily.
but from and see
But
the one thing that benefited about Gloucester was because everything was on one floor. So
yeah,
you
everything's on
know
one floor. You got like what, like 4 or 5 hallways.
about five hallways.
So it wasn't as hard as Triton was when I moved there. It was like
Yeah,
15 hallways on the first floor, one hallway. I'm like, the heck? I'm
yeah.
going, I'm going this way. I'm supposed to go this way. I'm
But
like,
all in all, like I said, really life wasn't really that much different after Tyler moved out, or in terms of high school wise. Like did what completed high school. For all through 4 years. As me and Tyler did, obviously different schools. But there was the things. I'm thinking about. Sometimes I do kind of think about say, what could have been. If Tyler could have just stayed all through 4 years of Gloucester High, I think would have been that would have been
it
it
would have
would have
been
been
easier for you, is what you're saying.
yeah, because it was kind of for hard. Like I said, for me, I have a hard time adapting to new things.
Yeah.
But I always keep like an open mind to it. And ever since when Tyler moved to Belmar, it's like, you know, it got a little bit tough. I would say, I would say my junior to senior year, it got, or I would say between minus my sophomore, I would say between my sophomore or the end of my sophomore, beginning of my junior year, that's where it kind of got a little tough after Tyler left or moved. And it's like, and then each and every day is to say, I feel like there's something missing. I've always had that feeling. Like there's something missing.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think that was around the same time you stopped talking to me because of you weren't talking to anybody at that time because you were too upset.
Yeah, yeah,
So so you were missing something, man. You were missing me, man. You were
yeah,
you were
it
missing
was.
you were missing that conversation. So you
And
said you said hi that one time, reconciled, and you were like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you for better part of a year." I'm like, "Dude, you're fine."
yeah, and
Like we were still okay.
it's Tyler's just one of those people. When I first got Wayne, yeah, I mean, we have some subtle differences, here and there, but most of the time, like, ever since we became best friends, it's also crazy too. The only subtle difference is, Tyler's more of a country music head than I am in terms of in terms of our likes and differences.
Yeah, you're into that throwback stuff. I'm into like whatever. Like, dude, I
Yeah.
like current stuff, past stuff. I don't care if it's country. I'll listen to it.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing.
And it's
Um,
but yeah, it's and
and you
we
would,
talk.
and also the other difference too is that you like anime.
Yeah, I was a huge and I'm still an anime head to this day.
You're like, I remember like you're like, oh, did you see this anime? Have you heard of this anime? I'm like,
I was like, what?
what? Like, I'm like deer on headlights. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. There was like a few
Yeah.
times where I caved and I'm like nodding my head like I knew, but I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah, I had to lie your way. But I knew I like
You
sort of
knew I didn't know
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
I was
I
trying to
knew
nod my.
uh,
I was trying to be nice and lie. And
even
like,
though
yeah,
in
I know what
reality,
you're
I
talking
knew you were
about.
lying. Even though it
You knew
really
I
never
was lying.
bothered me, but I could tell you were such a horrible liar.
I'm like, I know what you're talking about. No, I don't. Not really.
but but like I said, besides a little bit tough without Tyler, most of the time throughout high school, I just went on as usual, got you know pushed through mostly academically and also athletically as well. Even though let's be real, I'm not even really that athletic, but at least I gave it a shot. Even though
Yeah, bro. I kept pushing. Like, you were like, man, I've been trying out for this college, that
yeah,
college,
and there are
that
times.
other son, and I'm like, dude, you got to keep going, man. They're bound to say
Yeah,
yes at some point.
it's crazy because even after high school, I mean, look, we sort of talked a lot too. And went to Roman College at Gloucester County. That's before they merged with Cumberland County. At the time, tried out for you know, I will say once you got to know me personally, I haven't had much of a rough. I may not, you know, and see, that's the thing for me in terms of like the sports side of things. I didn't even get started till I was like 12, 13 years old. So in a way, I was basically a late bloomer, and kind of was, in a certain sense, kind of was, I felt like I had to catch up, and tried, and like Tyler said, I tried out for the community college 3 times. That really didn't really work out, and I was crushed. I didn't really tell Tyler that. Well, I told Tyler that I was gonna, you know,
Yeah,
well, I really said,
you were like, man, I can't do it. I'm gonna quit. Like, dude, give it one more shot. If they say no, then quit. You know,
I, you know,
because there's only so much you could take
and it's like the fact
at
that
that point.
and I was and like like Tyler said, I was a walk on. That was the thing. That was the only difference
I
out
was
of
like,
the
that's an issue, man. That you're a walk on. They don't really accept walk ons in colleges, and
which in
sometimes they do,
reality
sometimes they don't.
sometimes it does. So most colleges do take walk ons because I didn't
They take
really.
walk ons, but they don't sign them. They don't say yes to them. Basically, what I'm trying to say.
And yeah, and it's really
Um,
looking back at it, and and ever since with Rowan College though, one time I first go to the meeting, say, yo, you're part of the team, and it's like basically like foot in the NFL way. You kind of make you quote unquote make the team until you get to the roster cuts. Is basically how I'm going to make this comparison.
yeah,
Basically, you have to trim down the roster, and unfortunately for me, I got the short end of the stick after doing well in camp. In a certain sense. And
Giannis, no, Giannis Antetokounmpo, stay with the Bucks. No.
but
Uh,
I tried out
yeah,
my sophomore year in college.
yeah,
Kind of was a little bit better than the previous. Unfortunately, got cut again. And
yeah,
then, because yeah, I know, yes, I know. I say I tried out 3 times. Yeah, I kind of spent 3 years at a community college, even though it's supposed to be 2. Because I didn't have the, because I think, God, I can't remember the credit amount. But regardless, I was a few credits short, so I had to stay for an extra year. So I
yeah,
graduated in 2019.
yeah.
So I tried out again the final time. You know, same
It didn't
result,
work out. It didn't work out. But
and
sometimes I think sometimes in sports things don't work out. It happens.
well, not like on my end because I've been on the side of the sports political BS. In terms of basic clicks is basically for lack of a better
Yeah,
term.
you've been through the sports politics stuff, but
Yeah, you know, and had an opportunity even at the high school level too. I had an opportunity to at least help Gloucester High because let's be we have not won. And we started talking about before. Gloucester High baseball have not won a championship since the 70s. And
you were telling me about that. You were telling me about that for sure. But
and my senior year, we had an opportunity to finally break the curse, and
still
unfortunately,
didn't happen.
and boy, I've that that hurt. I would say, look, I've taken losses in my athletic career, but none of them more to the fact that it was the second round of the playoffs, and knowing that was my last year with the rest of the guys that I played with, it's like, man, this stinks. Yeah, and it stung. I've even though let's be real, I've never really saw.
Rob, I got some breaking news on Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, jeez.
Nobody's getting him.
Wow.
No deal. No deal. So Jonathan Taylor will not be traded.
That's crazy, but
so I had to break that breaking news. I just got the notification on the ESPN.
Colts won a first round pick for him, and they don't want to pay a first rounder for a guy like Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to another Jersey kid as well.
Yep.
But going back to what I was saying before the breaking news kind of interrupted. But yeah, I've never really seen a single inning of high school playoff baseball. Basically, I was pretty much sat on the bench.
You were a bench warmer in a sense.
And I told Tyra there were times, I actually was actually going to demand to get demoted to JV because that's what I've always been. I've always had my opportunities at the JV level, but and I even told I said this once before, and I'll definitely want to mind rehashing for those who have not really got to know me a little bit. When senior year came at Gloucester High, I'm thinking to myself, academically, you know what? I'm thinking I'm going to and let's be real, my senior year academically had much better classes than I did. Slightly better classes than my junior year because I had some good classes too in junior year. But in terms of in terms of high school baseball, it's like, yeah, this is not gonna end well. And I knew I had that gut.
We were polar opposites when it came to academics, man. I was lazy. You were grinding hard with all the work and stuff.
If I remember correctly, I think it finished a 3.5 GPA in high school. So yeah, basically almost a. Yeah, I may not be.
I don't even know my GPA. I don't even know what my GPA was. But
because for me,
most likely bad.
It's crazy because my GPA, if I remember correctly, it was like 75th, which is very good. I know, yes, I know, because if you're like in the top one, like say in the top 1 percentile, yeah, that's not good. I know it's weird to say, but I was in the top 75 in terms of my GPA, which is like, yeah, at times, yeah. Can I be smart? Yes, I can be, but sometimes I choose not to. At times.
That was me. I can't be smart, but
there are times, yeah. I've become. Sometimes I didn't know even I had well, and that's also to extend to the fact that I worked hard in the classroom. So, but like I said, in terms of the athletic side of things, I was dreading knowing that coming to my senior year, like this is my last, well, not just last year, not both academic, but also athletically as well. Knowing that the fact that I was getting pretty much, if you think of the major league wise, I was getting called up to the major leagues. Knowing that I was dreading knowing that day was, and it's crazy too. Like even my sophomore year, let's be honest, one of my, I had the, Atara knew I had the, boy, I sucked that year.
Oh my God, you had the yips galore, man. You couldn't even
literally had to take a step back and actually reinvent.
It happens to players, like they just lose muscle memory, man, like randomly. It happens in baseball. It's weird.
But come back my junior year, like even at that then, yes, I know I wasn't really thinking ahead, but I was also dreading when when senior year came along. And what I mean by that was the fact that, I'm not going to be a JV player come senior year because I unfortunately had to be on varsity. Even though, let's be real, I
Yeah,
knew I was going to be dreading it ever since,
yeah.
because it's like ever
I would
since.
have. I would have quit the team, to be honest.
Actually, I
Going what you went through.
I just pretty much not spoke to most of the guys other than Bobby Turgetti, Vinny, Joe Weatherly. So some of the, and Mike Keith in particular. I spoke to a few guys on varsity, but I did not talk to anybody else resting on the varsity because the way I look at it, because I actually stuck out like pretty much like a sore thumb. Like I did not belong there. And I was good. I got to the point where it's like, you know what? Send me back down to JV. I demanded to be demoted back to JV because that's where my, figuratively speaking, is where my home is. My baseball career, my
Mm,
baseball home
yeah.
was JV. I've always felt that way. And I will still continue to this day. And I told people too, look, I've always been a JV player through and through. And yes, I know. Yes, the benefits that you got to you say, and people say, oh, you got a varsity letter. And I'm thinking myself, I'm replying, so quite honestly, I didn't even earn. That was given to me. It was not earned. I'm sorry. I'm the kind of person that realized, I don't like things being given. I like to earn for them. And the varsity letter it falls in that same category. I was given the varsity letter because I was playing. It's like, oh, you play varsity? Like, yeah. I mean, I did spent like had one start in varsity, and that was pretty much about it. In terms of pitching wise, but hitting wise, I was given the opportunity a couple times. Once against Wildwood, and obviously for senior day. It was just, like I said, senior year. My senior year at varsity was it was just a dark moment in my career.
Yeah,
I've been
you had a rough time. You were telling
like
me about that too. You had a rough time.
it was just kind of hard to really, when I look back at it, it's just like, like, because and I don't know. It was a really weird feeling because I've never experienced. Yes, I know experience like the clicks and the favoritism and crap like that. But the fact that I was dreading, having a dreadful year, um, before going to varsity side, that was a new feeling for me and I mean, look, some of the coaches I actually liked. I mean, like Coach Stu was actually pretty good. Mr. Fay before he actually went to Gateway, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he moved. He moved and went to Gateway High
He was
after a
pretty
while.
good. It was Gal. For some reason, Gal was the only one I just look from a teaching perspective. I actually liked him for history. I will flat out say, Galbraith actually did pretty well as a history teacher, but
Bro,
as a
history,
coach, it was
history,
a
dude, history. Yeah,
whole different. That's a whole different problem in its entirety.
yeah.
Even though I
History,
never,
history classes were like really, really fun though with these teachers because they were like,
I
laid back
I
most of the
had
time.
him in terms of history. I had him and Mr. Lifstead in terms of history,
Right.
but going keep going a little bit too is the fact that I didn't really say anything that I did have my grievances, but I didn't want to really say it, because I'm
You
not
didn't
the
want to
person.
call. You didn't want to cause problems.
So I just pretty much just kept it myself, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, that turned out to be and I'm not the kind of person to hold a grudge, but unfortunately, yeah, I made the mistake of holding a grudge after graduating high school. It's like, you could have, at least give me an opportunity. And it's kind of crazy too. And I'm still friends with Gavin Unitas. And boy, I mean, even though I had different opinions on him when I first met him, like I said, most of the guys, besides Vinny, Mike Keith, Joe Weatherly, Steven Massaro, I know the kind of, and I still talk to Steve here and there. But it's just there's some guys that I don't know, like it's kind of hard to. I had different thoughts and opinions on them. Yeah, but what's also crazy too when I remember about the set, let's be real, and the funniest moment, and I told Tyler this too. I was one of 5 people to get drug tested after our victory against Haddon Heights. Might I add, was the number one ranked team in the state of South Jersey at the time. Um, and we were the 16th seed. or if you think of this in MCAA comparison, like USMBC, you know, upset like a number one, these 16 seeds that you don't think we're gonna really go for. Yeah, no, we were pretty much the underdogs. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way. We were the underdogs in high school baseball. Yeah,
Rightfully so, because the baseball program wasn't really that great.
we
Hasn't been
beat
good for
Haddon
for
Heights
years.
and really shocked. And it was also crazy too. You also had like the news out there because Haddon Heights had a draft prospect. Crap, I can't think of his name now. It's really but yeah, it was kind of a bit of a big deal for Haddon Heights because he had a draft prospect for the Haddon Town. No, Haddon Heights or no
Yeah.
Haddon Township, one of the two. I can't remember. Um,
They have two Haddon thing. I don't. You
oh yeah,
messed
it
up
was
the two
Haddon Heights.
well
The Haddon
too.
Heights, the Garnets. That's what they were.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we wound up beating them. I think it was
What's up, backyard? How you doing?
what 3-2. And I remember this like too. I mean, Bob pitched his ass off, as but Sal Carosino, and even though let's be real, P head is which most of us we call him because his head was kind of small, but that's it was just he didn't really care. We always like to bust each other's rear ends about it. But yeah, he came clutch too. And Nick D'Agostino also was really good in the outfield as well. So we had a really it was not like a perfect team on paper, but hey, look, we got the job done. Unfortunately, I know Steve. I think Steve got drug tested. Sal Carosino got drugged. So if I remember correctly, it was me, Sal Carosino, Mike Keith, and I think Steven. That was pretty. I can't think of the fifth kid. We all got fucking drug tested because for me, it's like, first of all, why are you drug testing a bench warmer? Like, what the hell did I ever do?
Hey, bro, loosen the reins. You dropped F bombs, man.
Yeah, no.
Or PG, man. You gotta.
But it's like I laugh at it, it's like I'm a bench warmer. And I really hate to, and to be quite honest, I really accepted the fact that I was a bench warmer, but the fact you had me get drug tested for whatever reason, it makes it. I say, and I remember this too. Like I think it was math class. I think it was either. Hang on, how did the classes go? Because usually because was it fourth period always like lunch most of the time?
It was fourth period for a while. I think.
Well,
One
it
time.
depends on where you're at.
I think it was at like seventh or eighth grade. We had lunch at like 10 a.m.
Like first of all, like I'm having
like I just ate 4 hours ago. Why don't I want to eat again? Like,
but besides the point. So I think it was like a third period math. Had to get called to the nurse's office. I'm thinking to myself, okay. Then Nurse Stewart, let's be real, one of the best nurses that Gloucester High has had.
sweetheart, total sweetheart.
And she's going to tell me, the people from the drug testing agency or company or whatever it is, they want us to drug test. It's like, what? I was confused. I saw the rest of my 5 or 4 of my other teammates say, "Oh, so why? Like why?" I pretty much took the drug test.
I don't think you should have been panicked because if you didn't take anything, then
That's what I'm.
fine.
See, that's like I was confused. That was the crazy part. That I say, I didn't do really much, at the time. Well, I want. But I was confused to the point. It's like I thought I lost brain cells. It's like, why am I getting drug tested, even though I've never took any types of drugs whatsoever? And I really hasn't really done anything. So I mean, I had to comply regardless. And I came back clean. It's like not shocker. And really, it's like I said, my athletic career in terms of my baseball career has been, I guess you could say, a roller coaster. It had its peaks and valleys, for lack of a better term. I was seeing certain.
The life after your high school, man. You were.
And there were times I actually did thought about retiring from the game itself because, after playing travel ball, as soon as I turned 19, it's like, oh Christ.
Yeah, then you did that amateur thing
and
for
still
a
doing it
while.
now. And
Still
I'm
doing it.
26. It's even though let's be real, we have probably one of the worst years that I've been a part of. Yeah, we were terrible. I would say. And that's also the fact that we missed some key pieces in certain positions, and we just stunk. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Well, like I said, like I said, I do. I will say still a little bit rough around the edges. But I'm kind of guy that once you kind of understand what I go, some of the stuff that I've been through. Look, I mean, I could be a really nice guy. Yes, I do have a bit of an anger. Do have a bit of a temper, which what do
I
you
have a bit of a
say?
temper too, so don't worry.
Or if somebody say
But
stupid
yeah,
answers, I just like ugh.
but
Entire
he's
seat
also the type of guy that if you say something, he
very
will rib
stupid.
you. He will rib you over it, and he will not live it down.
No, absolutely. And trust me, I do it to this man all the time.
They do it. We do it. We roast each other, man. Like it's a
And
lot of
it's
fun.
and that's the thing too. What I've always appreciated about Tyler, not just become a friend. He's been basically like my other brother for the last almost 15 years in the making, which is
Bro,
kind of
we've been buddies for like
yeah, I know.
13 of them years, bro.
Yeah, even though, like I said, and actually, I do want to touch upon that as well. Like, yeah, and that's the thing too, which is crazy too. That not just from the New Jersey side of things, we were a town over in South Carolina. Like, we'd have been a lot of friends a lot
Yeah,
sooner
but
than.
we'll talk about that on a future episode.
But yeah, like I
Um,
said, you're gonna love some stories from the South. It's
yeah, we're gonna talk about that the next episode.
but
And
yeah,
then,
it's gonna be
but I feel like we need to be more on a consistent basis with this because our last episode was like months ago.
yeah, that's true.
So I think we need to be more consistent. So it'll be next Monday, um, afternoon because we do the Raw watch alongs and stuff for Monday too. Um, so we will be doing that on Monday at 3 o'clock next Monday.
Yep, absolutely. But
And but yeah,
that's gonna do it for technically episode 3, even though it's episode 2 on the YouTube side.
it's episode 2, but I'm gonna call that unofficial first episode the pilot test
Yeah,
episode. It's not really the legit episode. So anything that's on here on this channel will be the legitimate episode. So next episode will be episode 3.
absolutely. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys new, make sure you hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button because, like I said, this is kind of fun. We finally reboot the. I would say this is called a show, but this series to the point where they,
It's not really a reboot because in a sense, like I said before, man, that unofficial first episode was just a pilot. This is just the show now. This is it. This is
yep.
what we do, and I feel like we have to be like a little bit vulnerable with you guys. Talk about us.
Because, like I said,
And
me and Tyler are the kind of people, and like I said, even here on YouTube, like we don't really put on a facade.
I'm not gonna sit there and play a facade
Nah, because
on
it's like
YouTube. I'm
we'll
not
tell
gonna
you
do
how it
that.
is. Like basically, like we'll be real with you.
No, we'll
And
be real. We
and
will
that's
be
kind of the
real.
point
Yeah.
of this show in a sense, kind of live some backstory of not because how me and Tyler become friends, and you know, and just kind of just learn of you know
Learn who we are as people.
yeah, exactly.
So this is why it's called real talk. All right. It used to be called something else, but I thought, no, that's gonna get us demonetized. So I'm not gonna say the other name
Mm-hmm.
that I almost called this show. It's called Real Talk, where we're being
Because the
real with
original
you
idea
guys.
was a 4-letter S word.
Yes, we were going to call that, but no, we're not going to call it that.
Yeah,
That was too graphic for us to call.
I would
But
say not, but
before we
yeah,
go, let's read some comments here. Um,
I really like I said, we
I,
John
we
Allen.
we appreciate that. We appreciate that. It says ever since I came across you guys' YouTube channel, you guys have treated me like family. So thank you for that. Of course, man. Of
I
course.
mean. if it weren't for, and that's the thing too, if it weren't for Gooley
That's
who
for
put,
anybody that comes in here. If you like stuff and you want and you subscribe and all that other stuff, even if
and
you just
Arco
watch,
has seen one fight in high school. That was at lunch. Why is it
that's
always
dude.
lunch?
Why is it always lunch? Why is it lunch?
Why? Like
Why is it
it's a
lunch?
coincidence. I've seen a fight at lunch. You did. Now Arku says it. Like, what is with people and
What's
fighting
with
at
lunch and
lunch?
fighting? I don't
I
understand
don't
it.
get it.
Your brother saw a fight at lunch.
I,
What?
I, I
But yeah, John Ellman, like anybody that comes in here, comments, likes it, all this other stuff.
absolutely.
Even if you
You
just
know,
come in and
it's
watch, we appreciate it. We're gonna treat you guys like family. All right. You
look. We
guys are
try to.
you guys are basically our friends. You're not our fans. You're our friends.
Oh,
So
absolutely, 100%. Like I said, you know, I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but yeah. I mean, Tyler pretty much said it best, but you know, and
heck,
John,
even if when we gain like a profit, we don't keep it. We don't want your money. We'll give it to charity.
and that's the
You
thing
know,
too, especially with these with super chats, like it's like we greatly appreciate, and that's the thing too. Like we don't really ask for it though. That's the thing. It's like, look, if you
we're not
just
gonna sit there and go, "We want your money. We don't care."
no, but if he does, and if one of y'all does do a super chat, look, like it's nice, but like I said, we don't really. I
We
mean,
don't really
we'll
care for it. You can just comment and a standalone
yeah. I
comment.
mean
You don't
this,
need to comment a super chat, and you
but
don't
I
have to
mean,
do that.
I look like I said,
And we were going to do like a paid service where certain videos would be a pay-per-view. No, we're not doing that.
no, not behind a
We,
paywall.
we looked we looked we looked we looked at each other and we were like, I can't believe we thought that out. We we,
Well,
we, we can't we canned that idea because we don't want to do that to you people. Or we have
no,
you have to pay to watch a certain video. No, we're not doing
no.
that.
I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, and that's what I've always, and me and Tyler kind of talked about because with some of these other content creators, they have like, these Patreons and stuff like this, so you get to see these videos early than anybody else. Is that nah. Everyone,
Not fishing. We're not fishing for money. We're not
we
doing
ain't
that.
doing that. Nah,
Like
no
those people do.
siree.
And yeah, get your money where you want to get your money, but we're not doing that. We have a different identity. We have a different focus on things. We don't want money.
I mean, like, hey, like I said, if you do want to do super chat, look, you're free. Feel free to do so. Like,
And again, any income that we get from YouTube, which we're getting some type of income from
yeah,
YouTube,
well,
because we
ain't
got
keeping
over
it.
1,000 subs, so we're getting to get monetized for stuff. That money goes straight to charity.
It really is. Like I
Like
said, yeah,
so,
but
so
that
yeah,
base,
so yeah. We do treat you guys like family. Like we care about you guys. We genuinely care about you guys.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, with and like I said, we have some big moves coming up as well, which we can't say yet. But
Gotta keep it on the
y'all,
hush hush, man. Gotta keep it on
mm,
the hush hush.
yes sir,
You
because you're
can't
gonna
you
like
can't you can't say anything about it yet.
what for those who have been around the channel up to this point, you're gonna like what we're going to have, not just here on YouTube, but also on the rest of social media as well. Um, so we'll leave it at that.
And
We're
I
gonna be
did kind of spoil it earlier in a sense, but I just said a new group. I didn't name the group itself,
eh,
but it does involve newer people, newer collaborations, newer
you'll see
everything,
some old familiar faces that
all
we've worked
familiar
in the
faces.
past.
But we're gonna keep it on the hush hush. We're not going to announce what it is as of yet
So
until we do eventually get going. But gotta
so
keep it on the hush
as
hush,
it
man.
stands, so currently, so later on tonight, me and Ty will be back at it for ECW, not 2006, the OG
Yeah,
ECW.
you literally tortured yourself last night with that. Like, hey, look what I'm watching. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
2006 ECW.
and then we're going back to the late 90s ECW, and later on tonight at 8
Yes.
o'clock. I'll be back at it again with NXT, and then obviously Wednesday. You know how it is. We're back at it again with AEW Dynamite. Tyler, obviously, it's running me on Thursday.
No,
Obviously
it's
for the
on. Wait, yeah, because we moved it. We moved it to
yeah. So
what did we move it to? Monday or
I think we should
or
because
no? Do we?
No,
When did we
because
move
we
it?
moved Ballin' with the Ladies on Friday.
Oh yeah, we moved it back to
You know
Friday.
what? I would say have it on Mondays. No, actually,
Yeah.
no. That's kind of
Then again, we're doing two streams, but either way you put it, we're doing two streams.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we had to pull double duty basically.
So yeah, put it on Monday. Monday at
Uh,
6.
yeah, absolutely, and we could because, like I said, and obviously for those, and like I said, the last few episodes, y'all been killing it with these last few episodes.
Man,
It's like yes, and
the
unfortunately,
numbers doubled. You had like double digits, now we're at triple digits now.
now
We have
yeah,
to
it's
keep
very
improving. Obviously, there's still work to be done to improve the view count, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Just tell us what you want to see, and we will deliver. So,
But yeah,
um,
and obviously, yeah. So it's just going to be me and for those who have been around the around the show for a while. Yeah, it's we did unfortunately make the we actually, you know what? Last thing we get up out of here, obviously, we did talk about this once before. We did unfortunately had to cut ties again with the with our unfortunate third co-host, but we're not, like I said, Tyler. We won't get into much details.
yeah,
We
I'm
just
not going to go into too much detail of what happened. All
But
right.
we just found there was information that was coming out that this person that we
They try to
thought,
leak. They just try to leak very negative information about us, and it did
and
not pay
try
off.
and yeah, and but yeah, so
So,
it's just gonna be
so
me.
we had to cut ties. We're like, dude, you're doing snake. You're doing things
Yeah,
like a
and
snake. You're being a snake. So you're gone.
yeah. So
So,
that being said, like I said, from the foreseeable future, it's just me and Tyler. You know
yep.
how it is. Nothing changes. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has concluded another episode of The Real Talk with myself, Robert, and Tyler. We'll be back at again next week as well. Obviously, Saturday, you'll see Tyler for Collision.
Yeah, it's gonna be by my lonesome because Rob is working, and obviously our other former buddy isn't there to do collision with me, so I'll be alone. Uh, unless Rob has a free day off on Saturday.
Nah,
Uh,
but
in the future, which
but
probably will
Monday.
never happen.
So obviously, there's going to be Monday, the September 4th. There's going to be no, well, we'll still have another Esroni podcast at 6 and then 8 o'clock, Monday, September 4th. If you're a Clemson fan, come hang out with me and
So,
Tyler opening
yep,
night.
no Raw for that night because our Clemson Tigers will be back
Open against the
on
The
Monday
Duke
night.
Blue Devils.
So
We
we'll be
also
doing that game live at 6 o'clock or
kickoffs
was
at
it?
8 on ESPN.
Oh, okay. So kickoff is at 8 p.m. So you will see Clemson versus Duke instead of Monday Night Raw for
And
September
also
4th.
Sunday, September 10th, which thank God I'm off that day. Eagles kickoff. Eagles football starts
I'm there for that too. I'm there for that. So September 4th, September 7th,
September 10th.
September 10th. Yeah, September 10th
Yeah, so yeah, like I
we'll
said,
be there.
you're gonna we got
Football
some
season's back. Football season's back in full swing.
and
So
you're gonna see obviously you saw the NFL return, NFL Top, my show NFL Top podcast returns, and same with the pigskin recap.
Pigskin recap will no longer be a hardcore sports exclusive since we're out of that group. I'm
And
taking my show and putting it on the Sports and Wrestling Connection YouTube channel.
absolutely.
So
Or if you think of this too, you know what? I just thought of this. I know this will sound like a stupid idea, but why not combine the two? Be like the
no. We talked about this. I don't want to do that. Really, keep your side. Like have like you know news,
yeah.
trades, all that good stuff. Have it separate. I like the separate thing. Like have your own show with NFL. Have my own show with NFL. I do recaps. You do news. That's a
Yeah.
great system. We have that in place. Um,
But that
so that will
overall, I get
that will possibly be the on Monday again. It'll be on Monday afternoons.
yeah. And
Um,
like I said, for those who are college football fans or even college basketball, so don't forget we'll get you guys covered on college basketball as well at the same time. So That being said, like I said, y'all fall and winter, y'all gonna get spoiled like crazy on our end.
Yep.
Uh like
And
I said,
do you want to just make Real Talk like a mini series since that's
I
going
think
to happen?
yeah, absolutely. That was kind of
Make it like a mini series.
that's kind of an idea. That's
On
kind of
that
the
because
idea.
we only have like a limited amount of stories to tell anyway.
I think episode 3 should be the you know should be, I think should be at least be the last because I mean
Episode 3? No. Episode 3, no. We'll do 5 episodes.
I will say it. That's for sure. Not on RC.
We'll
But
do
yeah,
we'll do the South thing that we're gonna do. Talking about our life before we moved up to Jersey, and then number 5 will be, how we got into podcasting, and then that should be it.
yeah. With that being said, guys,
Or
this is
actually, let's do four. Let's make it 4 episodes. 3 is like the second to last episode, and then 4 second to last. So we'll do 4.
yeah.
Already on 3. The next one after. Wait, did we do 3 episodes already, or we did 2?
Where this is 2.
All right, so
Episode
we'll
3 will be the
do
South.
three
4 is
three
podcast,
next. Well, yeah, we'll do 3 next, and then 4 is
and
the
then be
last.
yeah, and that'll be it.
So
With
this is
that,
gonna be a mini series, but yeah, that's just because Picture and Recap is returning. And RC, I don't want to talk about them right now.
yeah,
I
no.
am too upset at them. You
And
lose.
unfortunately, we're gonna have to. Actually, yeah. So
We're gonna have to Sunday, next Sunday
Friday,
or Friday. Dang it,
yeah. So this Friday night or Friday
Aces!
evening,
Aces! You got a whole week to rectify this whole situation.
yeah. So Friday, I say Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern time, we'll be back in again with another. It's episode of Ball with the Ladies. Yes, I know we pushed it back to moved it to Friday because unfortunately I'm working this Sunday, so which
Yeah,
is
we have to. Yeah,
and
and he doesn't
and
have many Sundays off, so we're gonna have to move to Friday. Friday's usually when he has off.
yep. And with that being said, guys, have it. We'll see you again on ECW.
Oh, wait. Sponsors.
Also,
Sponsor.
yeah. But also, for those who are Twitch streamers, get YouTubers, or just needs an extra kick in the rear end, go to w.gg. Go to and use promo code SportsWrestle10 to save 10% off your order, no matter if it's the shakers, the tubs.
And yep, and also, SeatGeek. The promo code is Philly Sports. All caps, Philly Sports.
Yep.
Let me tell you how SeatGeek works, because I feel like we've been lacking on that. The red dots that you see when you open up your apps, they're not good tickets. Green, they're obviously great tickets, and
Yeah, you
then
got great deals.
yellow are just kind of good. They could be great, but they're just good. And then obviously the red dots, they're bad tickets, so avoid those. But yeah, the promo code there is Philly Sports. But continue.
Yep. All capital letters, absolutely. And also, too, if anyone wants to get some golf apparel, go to shankitgolf.com and don't use our promo code SportsWrestle15, SportsWrestle, which is all in capital letters with 15, the number 15 at the end. Save 50% off your order from Shankit Golf. If you want to get some good golf apparel for those who are going out golfing. And like I said, we got you golf people there too, so we don't want to leave you out.
Yeah, we're not leaving anybody out here. But also we have a merch store, guys.
Check the link in the description. Go to sports and wrestle myspreadshop.com.
Yep, go to our link tree. Go to our link tree, and we got
which
that
is also
there.
linked down in the description as well.
All of the sponsors that we covered here, link tree in here, in the description. But all proceeds that we earn, the commission that we earn through Just Gloves,
Yep,
and the commission that we earn with the merch, we don't want to see that money, because as soon as you buy something and we get commission for it, we're giving it right to charity. That's what we're doing. So yeah, that's the plan there. But
well, that being said, guys, we'll see you guys at 6 o'clock for original ECW. Peace out.
Peace.